The news.
Now.
Welcome to Granny Raps on the News. Most of you are used to seeing us at Granny's Place, where Granny Rocks, also known as Beth Green, plays the piano, makes us laugh, and answers our questions in profound and unexpected ways. But Beth also has a long history as a social commentator, and some of us have asked her to comment on current events as well. So tonight, we're doing a brief live stream before the show. It's called Granny Raps on the News. Tonight, our topic is Kavanaugh, Ford, America. Is this the time of reckoning? Granny?
Thank you, James. Well, I've been thinking so hard about what to say. Hi, Amy. On this tonight. I always try to take the high road. I try to be fair. And I've been, despite all of the upsets around Christine Ford and Kavanaugh, I think I have been fair. But there's something that's underneath all of this that I think we need to talk about, which is this a time of reckoning? Because I see Elizabeth, yay, because President Trump said that this is a scary time for men. And I can understand what he means. Okay, if you're absolutely innocent and somebody, charges you with sexual assault, your life can be ruined. And I can understand that being an upsetting thing. We still don't have the final say on whether or not Kavanaugh did or did not do it, which is different from the issue of whether or not he has the temperament or the impartiality to be a Supreme Court justice. But let's set, in a sense, we're setting that aside. Because what I think is interesting about what President Trump said is that every day is, hi Helen, is a scary day for women all over the world. Women are raped. Women are killed in honor killings. Women are beaten. Women are abused. Women are oppressed every day. So yes, this is been a scary time. Probably a scary millennium for women. So let's put things in perspective, shall we? Now, I also believe that if we stop the abuse of power by the powerful ones, then it is not a scary day for men. It's a wonderful, liberating day for men, because men are abused by men also. And I talked about that in one of the earlier programs. So that is kind of a bizarre statement. It's a scary time for men. It's only a scary time for men who abuse power or who are unjustly accused. Yes, Helen is agreeing. It's always been scary for women. I mean, I know it from childhood that women always had to protect ourselves from men and from abusive women. But let's say that we look past all of that. What are we really talking about? We are talking about the abuse of power and how we have turned a blind eye. Now, one of the saddest things to me is that good people, let's say religious people, Christian people, have been supporting President Trump and turning a blind eye to everything he does, just like they did with Roy Moore, some of them, not all, because they have an agenda and he's going to help them with their agenda. I call that turning a blind eye. Right? And Democrats, it's the same thing. I may not like the behavior of so-and-so, but I don't want to, blow it for him because he might get thrown out of office and then we might have a Republican go in there. There is a history, whether it's for political reasons, personal reasons, of turning a blind eye to abuse. We have turned a blind eye to the abuse in business. I mean, the lead industry was telling us that lead was good for our health, and they put it in the, they say, hey, it's wonderful to have lead in the water. Lead pipes, lead water, wonderful, make you strong. Okay, they've known that, they knew it, and they still kept doing it, turning a blind eye for the purpose of staying in power, keeping your money, and all of that. Now, that's not the only example. There's the tobacco industry, the asbestos industry, all of that. Hi, Todd, thanks for joining us. So we have a history, not only in this country, of course, all over the world, of people not wanting to face up to their accountability if it was going to get in the way of their profits or of their power. Hi, Bob. Now, I know in my heart that there are Republicans out there who are not happy with Brett Kavanaugh. Hi, Richard. But many of them don't want to say anything because it might get in the way of their political careers. Oh, and then they can rationalize it, as do we all, by the way. Oh, well, I'm doing this because it's more important that I stay in politics because I'm going to be doing all these really important things, right? I'm going to be helping people, and so I never have to be accountable for anything I do. So it goes on and on and on. Hi, Kim. Thank you. She said, love you, Beth. I love you too. Anybody who loves me, I love, right? So anyway, but I'm kidding. I do love you. So this is the problem. We have entrenched power, and it doesn't want to move. And we, the people, keep it in power. Now, why would we do that? Well, because we want to have a hero, because we have an agenda that that person is going to be, you know, I didn't want to know that Bill Clinton had done all the things that he had done, because after all, then he might get impeached, and I wouldn't like that. Not that I was even a Democrat, you know, I mean, it's like, ooh, what's the alternative? We all have rationalizations for excusing, for turning a blind eye. Now, what I am hoping is that each and every one of us stops doing that we stop rationalizing our behavior and the behavior of other people, because it isn't just ours. Oh, by the way, I have to say that I saw this thing from Lindsey Graham that was kind of amusing. He said, Brett Kavanaugh couldn't have done it. I know this man. I've known him for, what, I don't know, 20 years. I don't remember dates or times. Anyway, something like that. It's like, oh, really? You know, you really know how he is with his wife in their bedroom. You really, I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. You don't know that. I mean, I had a client who came in, hi, Ann, I had a client who came into my counseling office, and he was a cross-dresser. Do you think any of his friends knew this? No, just his wife, because he got into her underwear. So this is nonsense. It's all excuses. It's all, now where is this coming from? It's coming out of fear. Fear that we are going to lose control. It's like, oh my God, wait, people. We are going to lose control. So we have to do everything we can, or we're going to turn a blind eye to the oppression of people of color, because that's going to get in the way of our agenda, which is to keep ourselves in power. So sometimes we're trying to keep ourselves in power. Sometimes we're trying to keep our husbands in power. Sometimes we're trying to keep our party in power. Sometimes we're trying to keep our race in power. Sometimes we're trying to keep our industry in power, and we will rationalize, and we will rationalize, and we will rationalize. And I am asking, is this the time of reckoning? It's not just one day. Whatever happens, oh, I read something that is just astounding, that the FBI is finished with their report, which of course they refused to interview a whole bunch of people, or they weren't allowed to, or whatever, and that this report is going to be, a copy of it is going to go to the Senate for review tomorrow. So, I mean, that sounds absurd. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. This couldn't possibly be true, could it? I mean, is that a fair hearing? But anyway, whatever. Let's say that this is, Helen says, I hope it is a time of reckoning. And let us say that it's really fair, and it is done in a fair way. Let us say that Kavanaugh is exonerated, or let us say that he isn't exonerated. It doesn't matter, guys. Don't give up. Don't just get lost in anger. There is a time of reckoning. And you know why? Because we have each other. We have voices. We never had that before. Richard Nixon, his dirty business in the Vietnam War, and the presidents before that, whether you were a Republican or you were a Democrat like Lyndon Johnson, it was there. You know, that has come out. Everything comes out eventually, because we still have a somewhat free press, and we have our social media, as crazy as it is, and we have ways of talking and communicating, and women are standing up and speaking, and blacks are standing up and speaking. No matter how many times we get defeated, we are going to keep on talking. And I want every one of us to be totally honest with ourselves about our motivations in everything that we do. I don't care what side you're on. I care about our integrity as human beings and the lies we've told. You know, when President Trump said it's a scary time for men, I have to admit, I was thinking about just before the Civil War in the American South. It was a scary time for the white plantation owners, wasn't it? because somebody was finally talking to them, even reluctantly. They didn't even want to talk about really slavery, but yeah, somehow or other, you know. And whenever there's been revolt, it's a scary time. It's always scary when your power is being questioned, confronted, threatened. But let's get on a higher level, look at justice for all, look at the highest good of all. We need a day of reckoning. We need to stop rationalizing our brutality against one another. And I hope that we don't let this be the end, but just a continuation of the time that each one of us becomes more honest, more willing to spill the beans on ourselves, and more willing to hold accountable those who are harming others, not only so that we can stop that harm, but that we can help those people who are doing the harming. It's like, God, I've seen it a million times when a child is being abused in a family and the mother is too scared of losing her income to call Child Protective Services or do anything that's going to jeopardize her marriage or the money that's coming in. And so that child continues to get abused, the woman is dying of shame, and the man never gets the help he needs to stop what he's doing. Let us hope that the time of reckoning is here. It's up to us. Thank you. And do come to Granny's Place, which is at 6:30 Pacific time, right here on Granny Rocks on Facebook. Thank you. Bless you. See you next week or before. Bye.